So Roko, you directed a documentary film called Happy. How did that land in your lap?
It started about 5 years ago when a friend of mine named Tom Shadyac, who's a big-time Hollywood director, and one morning he looked in the New York Times and he saw an article about happiness. And this article said essentially that America is a very rich country but not a very happy country. So he called me up and said, look, I have seen personally in my life that my friends who are making tens of millions of dollars, who are even more successful and talented than I am, many of them are less happy than my gardener and my housekeeper, who have a very, very genuine smile on their faces when I see them every morning. Tom suggested that we explore the true causes of happiness in a documentary film.
What do you want out of life?
I don't know. To be happy?
To be happy.
I want the American dream. I want to be
It
happy.
was a long road making this film, and I know you wanted to give up, but you said perseverance actually was the key to success for you. When did you realise that was true for you?
I had seen a documentary film when I was 16 years old, and the documentary film was, it had a bit of that film was about this very remote place called Tuva. And the person in the documentary, the main character, died before he got to go there. He died of cancer. It was a dream he had for his whole life, and he never made it. And at that point, I decided I was going to make it. Somehow, by hook or by crook, I was 16 years old, I said, sometime soon I'm going to make it to that place. So that was one thing. I just sort of locked on, you know, like a dog that just is not going to let go. About 10 years later, after I had been to this country, I shot a film, I edited it, and one of our first screenings of the film was at the Sundance Film Festival. And the opening screening was at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, and there had been just a blizzard that had dumped 3 feet of snow. And I thought nobody was going to show up. And in fact, what happened is the place was packed. And after 4 years of making the film and getting really no support, they didn't feel it would be commercially viable. Sitting through that standing ovation was a very emotional experience and made me realize the things that I care about and believe in, these stories that I want to tell, as obscure as they may seem to some people, there is an audience for them somewhere out there. I recognize that this is something I can do and I probably should do. And I realized that I was going the right direction.
To learn to listen to what feels right and to follow that.
Right. That I think is the hard part, because so much of our society is pushing us in very specific directions, like for stability and luxury and comfort. I mean, everybody's taught to pursue luxury. We're trained to value those things. And those really sometimes lead us astray very powerfully from the things that really do give us meaning, like simply connecting to someone else.
So what advice would you give people having gone through your experience?
I think one of the most important things is to not stress out about not finding your passion or your dream or your vision or your path. It's in you, whether you know it or not, and it does express itself. I think very few people are capable of truly repressing what moves them. I think it's the first thing. To relax and be open. So I guess that's the most important thing, because that's the beginning.